welcome to This Day program for this April 26th. It's Tuesday, and thanks for joining us today on the program. I'm Paul Ortiz. First time behind the big desk here, and it's beautiful. I feel like Captain Kirk on Star Trek. Look at the size of this desk. It's beautiful, and we're very fortunate to have PBS SoCal who helped us to acquire this desk, and I can see why Lisa is so happy with it. Well, thanks for joining us today on the program. And today on our program, we're going to have our VMS director. He's the Director of Maintenance and Construction, and that is Manuel Gomez. And we're going to be talking about some of the department divisions and the intricacies of all the people that work within the division, and then also some of the major projects that are going on in our community, and especially the capital projects. Believe it or not, we've already been working on version A of our budget for next year, and it's a large projects. There are large projects in the community, and this process does take quite some time, and we'll be talking a little bit about all of those aspects. And if we have time, we're going to bring Robert Carroll back. He's the General Operations Manager here in Village Management Services. And Lisa got a chance to talk to him about the recycling program that CR&R is doing, and of course changing out the bins and things of that nature. So if we have time, we're going to try and play that for you a little bit later in the program as well. But we do have a couple of meetings we want to share with you at 9:30 this morning. If you're watching our morning program, the 3rd Resident Policy and Compliance Committee, they're meeting in the boardroom right here in your community center. And at 1:30 this afternoon, United Finance Committee, they're also meeting in the boardroom here in your community center. So only 2 meetings for this afternoon. Well, the weather's been beautiful. I know when I left work yesterday, it was nearly 90 degrees when I got in the car, and today's going to be another beautiful day. You can see temperatures today are going to be about 82 degrees, 54 overnight. We're going to have sunny weather for the next few days, and luckily as we get closer to the weekend, you can see those temperatures are going to be closer to the mid 70s, high 70s, instead of like high 80s like we had yesterday. So a little bit of a cooling trend coming for the next couple of days. Looks like that weekend's going to be beautiful. Our sunrise this morning was at 6:08 a.m. if you're out there having a beautiful walk. Beautiful sunsets and sunrises the last couple of days. And our sunset this evening is going to be at 7:33 p.m. And this is a wonderful picture by Mark Rabinowitz, a little dragonfly. It's a beautiful picture. You can tell that he had a very nice lens to get that focus in place, and a cooperative dragonfly as well. If you have a wonderful picture you want to share with us, be sure and email us at lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to give you photo credit as well. Well, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with Manuel Gomez, and we'll be talking about maintenance and construction right after this break.
People with hearing loss only know the way they hear, not how much better they should be hearing. How well are you hearing? Are you understanding 60% or maybe only 30%? You don't know unless someone measures your hearing understanding ability. People are wearing hearing aids that are underfit with power, not programmed properly, the physical fit is too loose or too tight. Find out what your understanding score is with a special word test from Advanced Ear Care. Stop in today and tell them Stuart sent you.
Get out and live your life with the Buzz Around XL travel scooter from Golden. The Buzz Around is fun to drive with a tight indoor turning radius so you can go just about anywhere. It's also so easy to charge and offers all-day range so you can go further. The Buzz Around even has more leg and foot room for all-day driving comfort. Be safe with the XL's ultra-bright LED headlight. Plus, the Buzz Around XL can be easily taken apart into several lightweight pieces. See for yourself just how easy and affordable mobility freedom can be.
Looking for a change of scenery? You don't have to play golf to enjoy all that 19 Restaurant and Lounge has to offer. From a delicious breakfast menu to our delectable lunch and dinner specials. At 19 Restaurant and Lounge, there is something for everyone. Relax with your friends and family and take in the beautiful view from our spacious patio. Or enjoy a cocktail and appetizer in our lounge. 19 Restaurant and Lounge is a great place to socialize, enjoy a meal, or simply take in the view. Join us 7 days a week and experience Laguna Woods' exclusive dining experience.
Number one reported accident for a senior is a fall.
Hi there, I'm Bob Eubanks. If you've taken a bad fall or your balance isn't what it used to be, it's time to try 60 Up. It's safe, it's effective balance training that can get you back on your feet in as little as 3 weeks, like it did me.
If you have balance, strength, or mobility issues, you need 60 Up.
Within a couple weeks, my balance has improved.
If you're feeling scared, you need 60 Up.
It works.
Go to 60up.com. That's the number 60up.com.
It changed my life, and it can change yours too.
I'm Jerry Slusowitz, founder of Pacific Financial Planners. Did you know that one simple mistake can derail your retirement plan? By not making the shift to income-based investing, you could be setting up your retirement plan to fail. If you're at or near retirement age, time is not on your side. One major stock market correction could wipe out your life savings. Visit safeincometoday.com to make the switch. Create retirement income you can count on.
Hi there, I'm Bob Eubanks. Remember me? I'm the king of whoopee. And you're watching Village Television. But everybody does.
Joining us now is Manuel Gomez. He's the Director of Maintenance and Construction. Thanks for joining us on the program today.
Thank you.
You're kind of new to Laguna Woods Village and VMS, right?
I am, yes. I started with VMS in August of last year, so I'm well into my 8th month here now.
It's gone pretty quickly, I would imagine.
It seems to have gone by a lot quicker than I thought it was, yes.
I've noticed that Carlos and even Eric Nunez said that it's like drinking out of a fire hose. Has that been your experience as well?
Yeah, I've been really fortunate. My department has one of the larger departments, but we've got a lot of good staff. And they've really been supportive in helping me get acclimated and pointing out where some of the landmines are. So far it's worked out pretty well.
Good. Tell us a little bit about your background. I know you've worked in the local area for a lot of the municipalities, and even Irvine is your home, right?
Yeah, my background is pretty much all in local government. I've worked for the city of Irvine as their public works director for the last, for almost 13 years. And then I left there in 2018. I worked for the city of Laguna Beach and the city of San Clemente. I did interim public work director assignments there. What cities do when their executive team members leave for whatever reason, many times they'll bring someone in who will act as an interim while they complete their recruitment. And so I was able to do that for a couple of years before getting this position here in the village.
And I would assume a lot of those challenges with those cities, even though they're all coastal but they're unique, really helped you prepare for what you're facing here in our community. We're basically a city.
We are, and in local government, Public Works is the department of the city that handles all of the engineering and the maintenance functions for a city. So that's the department that's usually taking care of your parks, your community centers, your senior centers, aquatics complexes, things of that nature, and of course all the infrastructure, roadways, sidewalks, things of that. So all the experience that I received working for those cities really prepared me for this position. The other thing that I think is unique about the cities that I worked for is that they were all very customer service oriented. So I think that was one thing that attracted the folks that interviewed me here, is that I come with a background of having experienced a clientele that is used to some very high standards.
Right. In this community is very much the same because they're retired, most of them. So, you know, they're not coming home from work at 5 o'clock and things like that. So they're very engaged with all of our staff. So that's a great, attribute for you to have.
Right.
I know you have a couple of slides you want to share with us. This is going to be basically the hierarchy of the maintenance and construction division, and you wanted to touch on those things as well.
I did. I thought it would be an opportunity for me to share with you and our residents how we're structured. the divisions that we operate, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of an overview over each one. I think some of these will be familiar to folks as they view in, but it gives a good starting point, an introduction to maintenance and construction.
Right.
So our department has 5 operating divisions. These divisions all are overseen by 2 assistant directors. I'm very fortunate to have 2 individuals helping me with the department. Mr. Bart Mejia is our assistant director that oversees what we refer to as our engineering and facilities divisions. So that would include our capital projects division, manor alterations, and our damage restorations division. And I'm going to go into a little more detail on those divisions and what they do in the following slides. And then on the other end, we have our maintenance assistant director, Mr. Ian Barnett, who oversees our 2 maintenance operations. Our maintenance divisions comprise probably 70-75% of our staff personnel.
Wow.
Our department is about 180 staff personnel, and like I said, about 70% of those are in our maintenance division. Right. So it's a really big operation. Most of those folks are housed at our maintenance yard. And then those of us that are more on the administrative side are typically housed here at a community center.
And that's what's interesting about your department too, is that you have a mix of non-union and union employees, and a majority of them are union employees, I would imagine.
Correct.
Yeah, very interesting. And Ian's been here for quite a few years, so he's obviously been helpful in kind of showing you the ropes a little bit.
He's been invaluable, yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's a really positive attitude. With his recent promotion to assistant director, he's really taken the bull by the horns and has already made some very positive changes in those areas that I think our residents are going to see, started to see already some improvement in customer service specifically on the maintenance side.
Right. Now, the next thing you wanted to touch on are capital projects.
Yeah, this slide here shows you just a sample of some of the projects that our capital projects group has worked on this past year. I think I wanted to show this because it really reflects the diversity of projects that this group handles. It's a small group. There's only 5 project managers in that division, but they do a lot of work. And they handle specialty projects like the lighting of the pickleball courts. That's something that came up this past year. It wasn't a planned project, but they're always willing to take on new work as it comes along, and they were able to successfully get a contractor on board and get that project done now for the enjoyment of the community. And of course, there's the more traditional, what I call public works projects now, maintenance and construction projects such as your roadway pavings, your roof repairs, and things of that nature.
Yeah. And that's what's happening too, right? As the community is aging nearly 60 years now, the roads need to be repaired just like anything else. We have potholes in our streets just like they are, out on El Toro Road.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I really have to compliment the current boards and prior boards, is that it appears that this community has done a really good job of funding the preventive maintenance of their infrastructure. It's old infrastructure, so that comes with problems, but it's in relatively decent shape because they've invested in maintaining it.
Right.
Like anything else, after a certain period of time, you have to start all over.
Right.
But and I think we may be coming up on that here in the next few years. As you said, almost 60 years plus.
Yeah.
But I think they've maximized as much as possible the lifespan of a lot of their infrastructure because they've invested over the years in proper maintenance.
And that's why your manor alterations is such an important project, right? Because you see people that are renovating their homes because of the age of the home, and the repiping of homes, and the just making it more modern and livable now, because the homes built in the early 60s are so much different than the homes built today, right?
Yeah. Now that's a good point. And our residents are going to interact with our manor alterations division if they're making an improvement to their residential units. So anyone who's going to modify or renovate their unit is going to come to us and go through our permit process. We refer to it as a mutual consent. That really just means that you're going to get the mutual, whether it's Third or United, concurrence on what you want to do in your manor. Some are very simple alterations. They maybe just want to change out the type of refrigerator they have, and others are doing full remodels, just like they're gutting everything and building something new. In either case, they'll come to our staff. They'll work with us and get the appropriate permits. And then this division also is very involved in the resale process, which is something that we've seen an increase over the last year or so coming out of the COVID situation. There are a lot of resales happening. And so here in the village, if you're going to sell your unit, you'll work with us. You'll contact Manor Alterations, who will do an inspection of the unit. We'll want to check to see if there's been any alterations done, either permitted or non-permitted, because it's not uncommon. Not all of our residents know or understand that they needed a permit to do something, and so as part of our process, we identify those alterations, confirm that they're either permitted or not permitted, and then work with the seller and their real estate agent on making whatever corrections need to be made so they can complete their transaction.
Where does the city of Laguna Woods step in when you are going through that process? Is there another permit process that the residents of, say, United or Third, when they're going through this remodel, do they have to go to the city as well?
They may on some things, but not all. Typically, if it's going to require demolition of any type, then it's going to require a city building permit. There's some things like water heaters that require a permit, but those are relatively simple. This division this past year, just to give you a sense of the magnitude of the work that they manage, they processed over 1,700 permits just in 2021 alone, and that's during the COVID situation, and had more than 900 real estate inspections done. So
they're busy.
It's a busy group.
Yeah, and of course we have damage restoration, and water and moisture intrusion is always a battle, no matter where you live.
Yeah, and we always hope that our residents don't have to interact with this division, but unfortunately, because of the aging infrastructure that we have, we do have a good number of water pipes that either may have a rupture or just have a small leak. And if it goes undetected for a certain period of time, that could result in some damage to the unit, whether it be the flooring or carpet or cabinets, ceiling if it's coming from the manor above you. You have nothing to do with it, but the leak happened upstairs and now it's dripping down into your unit. So this group works with those residents to not only arrange to have the repair work done, but also to restore any property that's been damaged, both personal and mutual owned. So they'll work with you on that, get that squared away for you. The other area where we see this group involved is in addition to the water leaks, is our infrastructure on the plumbing side is equally as old. So we do have a good amount of plumbing stoppages and backups, and those can also be a problem for residents, obviously, for obvious reasons, and this group handles the restoration for those services also. Another area that this group gets involved is if there's a damage to just village property. Every now and then somebody accidentally runs into a gate, runs into a fence, runs into
or a pedestal,
or a street light.
Yeah.
And this group will work with our risk management and insurance to get the appropriate party to compensate us for making those repairs. In 2021, this group handled more than 2,400 moisture intrusion events. So it's a large village. It's a lot. We have a lot of units, but 2,400 events, and not all of those were major damage. It could have just been minor stuff, but we track all that just to keep track of how much progress we're making on getting those things done.
We just had a flood at our home. Our home is now 35 years old, so I understand this experience, first time for me. But we've been eating out of boxes for 2 months because you start to have the water damage to the floor, and like you said, the walls and cabinets and things of that nature. It's a long process.
It is a long process. Hopefully we don't have you inconvenienced for that long. We try to get there as soon as we can, but we also many times will work with the residents who sometimes we'll take that opportunity to, well, hey, you know what? I wanted to change the carpeting in the other room anyway, so can I get my guy to come in and do that before you do this? And so sometimes it does get extended as we're working with the residents around their schedule.
Sounds like you've been talking to my wife. Well, maintenance services, they're the ones who handle all of our facilities, and we have some wonderful facilities in our community.
We do, and our maintenance services division is one of our larger divisions. We have probably over 55 maintenance workers that make up this group. They're the folks that you're going to see out servicing the equipment at the aquatic center and in the community centers and the clubhouses. This group primarily has our plumbing, our plumbers, our electricians, and our appliance techs. One of the things that this group does is for the United Mutual. United has a preventive maintenance program where we have technicians going in on a 3-year cycle. They'll do an inspection of the inside of the manor. They'll inventory appliances. They'll look at things like fans and vents to make sure that everything's working properly. And that gives us a really good assistance in getting a proper inventory of what we have going.
Right.
Another important program that this division handles is the waistline epoxy lining program. Both mutuals, both Third and United, have approved a multi-year program recognizing that the infrastructure of our waistline, our sewer lines, are deteriorating. We are inserting an epoxy lining inside of the sewer lines, and what that's doing is it's extending the useful life of the pipelines, and it's also cutting down on stoppages and things of that nature. So that's been working out very successfully, and this group manages that through outside contract services.
It's really amazing when you look at the numbers and the work hours in the year. They're doing nearly 95 work orders a day. That tells you how busy they are.
Yeah, again, a lot of that is just because of the age of our infrastructure and our facilities, but yeah, close to 25,000 work order tickets generated out of this group.
Right. And your next one is maintenance operations, and they're handling a lot of the exterior and especially the paint program.
Paint program is very important. You've probably heard of the broken window theory. If you have a broken window in a building or a home and you don't take care of it, before long the yard goes out of control and the paint's chipping off. So again, kudos to the boards here who have funded a good maintenance, routine maintenance program. External painting of our buildings is one of those. So this group has our painters and our carpentry groups. This is our largest division. We have over 85 maintenance workers in this group. And the other thing that they do is also manage the pest and fumigation programs. Occasionally, buildings do have to be tented for termite eradication and prevention. And so this group handles that through our contracts termite services also. Right. And as you can see, this division also very busy, close to 13,000 work orders this past year.
Right. And the last thing you wanted to touch on was your solar and energy programs. And obviously, electric vehicles are very popular, but electric homes and how we manage solar is important as well.
It is. And this work program is administered out of our administrative group. Our assistant director, Mr. Bart Mejia, has been doing a great job. Bart, by the way, is also new. He's also into his 8 months here at the village, but he's done a great job of coming up to speed on the solar installations that are here, both in United and in Third, and also he's starting to really dive into the energy management systems to make sure that our facilities are being run as efficiently as possible, and to try to minimize the cost of things like air conditioning and lighting and stuff of that nature. At the bottom of the slide, you see just some statistics as to the amount of energy that's being generated by the solar installations. And I'll have to bring Bart back to explain to you what 1.8 million kilowatt hours and 8.4 million kilowatt hours represents.
Wow.
And I think that'd be a good topic for a future segment.
Absolutely. We look forward to having, like you said, your assistant directors come on at some point and talk about all these wonderful projects that you guys are involved with. Well, believe it or not, you practically took our whole half hour of the show. So
my wife said I was going to do that. I told her, no, I'll be done in 10 minutes.
Well, you told me that a little bit earlier, too. You're going to make it quick, and here we just finished the whole show. So we thank you so much for joining us. It just really tells the community how important maintenance and construction is. And if these residents and the facilities are not maintained properly, new residents aren't going to, they're not going to come in and move in, and you're not going to have people that are going to want to spend money and invest their time and energy into remodeling their homes unless they have a beautiful community to live in. And your staff is doing an excellent job. You're here for almost a year and learning how this process works.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we appreciate quite a bit is when residents do contact us to let us know that there's a leaking toilet or there's a maintenance issue that they're concerned about, because even though we have a large staff, we can't be everywhere, and we really rely on our residents to let us know when something needs to be attended to. We don't mind that at all. We really enjoy that, and we encourage you to contact resident services if you see something that you think needs to be attended to.
Well, thank you again for joining us on the program. That's Director Manuel Gomez, and he's the Director of Maintenance Construction. And we're going to have some beautiful weather the next couple of days for the guys that are out there, guys and gals that are working out there on our many maintenance projects out there. It's going to be a beautiful week for the rest of the week. Low temperatures in the 80s and then even into the 70s as the week progresses. As you can see, it's already cleared up out there as well. Well, that'll do it for our program today. As you know, this is a wonderful time to talk about maintenance and construction, and we're glad that Mr. Gomez was able to join us today. We hope you'll join us tomorrow. We're going to have Annie McCary here. She's with Third Mutual, and she's going to be telling us about some of the things that they're working on as well. I thank you for joining us for this last half hour. I'm Paul Ortiz, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Captain America.
Watch HGTV.
Netflix.
I'm so happy to recommend Dr. Fairman. I've been going to her for 9 years. She's done implants, crowns, bridges, root canals, and I've been happy with everything that she's done. The staff is so friendly and pleasant, kind, and gentle. I would recommend her to anyone.
We are now fully open for all your dental needs and invite you to come in and experience the brilliant smile difference.
We are close to Gate 6 near Snooty Fox Restaurant behind Coco's.